violence. My great-great-grandfather came to Los Angeles in 1890 after taking the opportunity of slitting his father's throat in an act of random violence in New Orleans. His father, my great-great-great-grandfather, had the biggest and most luxurious house in the Garden District in New Orleans. Some people called it a plantation. America has always been a violent country, and Los Angeles has always been a violent town. It exists owing to murder and lies. But murders and lies opens the door for opportunities for random violence. In 1900, my great-great-grandfather opened a bar, and out of it he filled, as he called it, opportunities. Some people called him a loan shark. Some people said my great-great-grandfather was a violent man. My great-grandfather continued running the bar and the business of opportunities and then gave it to my grandfather. My grandfather used these opportunities to send my mother to UCLA, and she became the first legitimate member of the Molyneux family. I always liked my grandfather. I would hang out with him in the bar, help him clean his gun, help him balance his books. One day, we were walking up Central Avenue, and a man walked up to us and attempted to grasp his opportunities. He told my grandfather he wanted his money. He seemed to have a gun in his pocket. My grandfather gave him an opportunity and asked him if he was sure, and did the young man know who he was, and did the young man see he was with his favorite granddaughter. And the young man said, "Give me your fucking money, old man." My grandfather took out his silver gun, a gun I had pointed at my sister's head a week prior in a game of cops and robbers, and shot him in the arm. The young man said with disbelief, "You shot me." And my grandfather said, "You tried to rob me, and you better run before I make it so you can't run anymore." The young man ran away. I guess he didn't have a gun, and my grandfather looked at me and said, "Beak, what did you learn?" He called me Beak because my name was Lark, which is a bird, and birds have beaks, and I talk a lot. I said that if you walk outside, that people will try to rob you. And he said, "No, that's not the lesson. The lesson is, if you rob people, you will get shot." At the bar the following week, while drinking the root beer my grandfather made for me on Friday after school, a murder in South Central was reported on the television. They flashed a picture of a young man who was laid out on the sidewalk with yellow tape surrounding his body filled with bloody holes. The reporter said, in a case of random violence in South Central Los Angeles, a young man was killed. I looked over at my grandfather from the bar stool, and he smiled and asked me, did I like my treat? And I smiled that and nodded my head, yes. And that's the day I learned that you don't pull a gun on a gangster unless you plan on killing him. And there's no such thing as random violence.